Hey there, and welcome. Today we are diving deep into one of the coolest cosmic mysteries out there. Where did our moon come from? We're going to rewind the clock way back like 4.5 billion years to uncover this totally epic and frankly violent story that changed our planet forever. You ready? Let's do this.
You know, it's a question we've all probably asked ourselves at some point, right? You look up at the night sky, you see the moon. It feels like it's always been there, this silent, glowing friend. But here's the thing, it hasn't. So yeah, how did we get it?
Okay, so to really get this, you've got to imagine the early solar system. And I mean, forget what you know now. It was a total mess, a super chaotic, dangerous place. Our young Earth was just a ball of molten rock starting to form, and it was flying solo around the sun. No moon, nothing to light up those ancient nights. And for literally centuries, this was one of the biggest head-scratchers in science. It's like a cosmic whodunit, right? A huge detective story with clues just scattered all over the place. I'm talking everyone from ancient thinkers to the smartest astronomers today. They've all taken a crack at solving this thing. So before we get to the main theory, the one that really stuck, let's look at some of the early ideas. These were like the first suspects in our case file. And you know what? They were actually pretty clever, even if they turned out to be wrong. All right, first up, we've got the capture theory. The idea here is pretty simple. The moon was just this wanderer, a rogue body flying through the solar system. It just happened to get a little too close to Earth, and whoosh, our gravity grabbed it. Kind of like Earth reaching out and catching a cosmic baseball. Next suspect, the fission theory. This one's wild. It pictures a super young Earth spinning insanely fast, like way faster than today. So fast that a giant glob of molten rock just ripped right off the surface and got flung out into space. That glob then cooled down and, ta-da, became the moon. And then there's the accretion theory. This one's a lot calmer. The idea is that the Earth and moon just formed together, side by side from the same big cloud of space dust and gas. Basically, they're cosmic twins that grew up together. So all three of these ideas made sense for a while. But then we started getting new evidence. The big game changer was the Apollo missions. And when we studied what they brought back, these theories started to fall apart. The chemistry just didn't match up. The physics was a bit wonky. All the clues were pointing to something way more dramatic. Something violent.
And that, my friends, brings us to the current champion, the theory that ticks all the boxes, the giant impact hypothesis. Yeah, the name says it all. The idea here is that our moon was born from a colossal smash-up on a scale that's just hard to even imagine. It's a total Hollywood blockbuster of a story.
Okay, so every good story needs characters. In this one, we've got two. First, there's Proto-Earth. That's our planet in its baby stages, all hot and gooey. And then there's the other guy, a rogue planet in the making that scientists call Theia. And Theia wasn't small. We're talking about an object about the size of Mars, just hurtling through space. And yeah, that quote really nails it. The early solar system wasn't some graceful dance. It was a cosmic pinball machine on steroids. Things were just smashing into each other all the time. So Theia wasn't some random attacker. It was just another one of the pinballs bouncing around in this crazy, chaotic game. So try to picture it. Theia gets pulled in by gravity and starts heading for Earth. It doesn't hit head-on, though. It's more of a massive, angled collision. But the power? Oh man, the impact is so huge, it basically liquefies both planets and blasts an unbelievable amount of vaporized rock, yeah, vaporized rock, out into space.
Okay, so the collision happened. Boom. But that's just the beginning. That's not the end of the story, because now you've got this massive cloud of super hot wreckage. How does that turn into the beautiful, solid moon we see in the sky?
Right, so don't picture something like Saturn's rings. This was totally different. The energy from the impact was so insane that it created this thing called a synestia. Imagine a giant, spinning, puffy donut made of vaporized rock circling what was left of Earth. It's a bizarre, alien-looking thing, and thankfully, it didn't last very long. And here's the part that just blows my mind. This whole process didn't take millions of years. Not even close. Scientists running these super powerful computer simulations think the moon formed fast, like ridiculously fast. Within just a few hours, the debris starts clumping together. A few months or maybe a year later, you've got a moon. It's just incredible. I know this sounds super complicated, but the basic idea is actually something you can picture with Play-Doh. Seriously, imagine you've got a big ball of Play-Doh and you smash a smaller one into it.
What happens? Bits fly everywhere, right? Well, if you scoop up all those little bits, you can just squish them back together into a new ball. That's pretty much what gravity did with all that rock debris. Okay, so this giant impact story is awesome, right? It's super dramatic, but how do we know it's true? How do we know it's not just some cool idea somebody cooked up? Well, we go back to our detective case. We need hard evidence. We need the smoking gun.
And guess what? We found it. The smoking gun came from the Apollo missions. The astronauts brought back over 800 pounds of moon rocks, and when scientists studied them, they found something amazing. The rocks have a chemical fingerprint, it's called an isotopic composition, that is a nearly perfect match to rocks deep inside the Earth. That's the key. It proves they came from the same stuff. Plus, the rocks showed they were once part of a huge ocean of magma, which is exactly what you'd get from a gigantic, fiery crash.
And this theory solved another huge mystery too, the moon's core. See, Earth has this massive iron core, but the moon's core is tiny. Why? Well, the giant impact theory explains it perfectly. When Theia hit Earth, their heavy iron cores merged together and stayed with the bigger planet, Earth. But the lighter, rocky stuff from the outer layers got blasted into space, and that's what made the moon. So one event explains both the chemical similarities and the different cores. It just fits.
So there you have it, this wild story of cosmic violence that led to creation. But this isn't just some dusty old history lesson. The way the moon was formed had huge, huge consequences for Earth, and even for the development of life here. All right, let's just quickly run through the main takeaways. 1. The moon was born from a massive collision about 4.5 billion years ago. 2. A Mars-sized planet, which we call Theia, slammed into early Earth. 3. The wreckage from that crash got thrown into orbit and clumped together to become the moon. 4. We know this because the moon rocks from the Apollo missions are a dead ringer for Earth rocks. And 5. This single event totally changed the game for both Earth and the moon. And get this, the story's not even finished. The whole Earth-Moon dance is still changing. Every single year, the moon drifts about 1.5 inches farther away from us. It's moving at about the same speed your fingernails grow, which means if you could go back in time, the moon would have been way closer. It would have looked absolutely enormous in the night sky. It's just a wild thing to think about, isn't it? That out of this incredibly violent, chaotic crash, we got this calm, steady presence in our sky. The very thing that controls our tides, that keeps our planet stable, and that has inspired people for as long as there have been people.
It really makes you wonder. Our moon is literally a piece of the Earth, a kind of long-lost sibling, born out of total chaos. It just goes to show you, our solar system is packed with these deep, incredible histories. So what other family secrets do you think are still out there, just waiting for us to find them?